Hello, everyone. This is Yamina from Dr. GPCR. Welcome to the very first Dr. GPCR Virtual Cafe. Today's guest is Dr. Brian Airy. Before we move on to presenting our speaker and move on to the presentation, I'd like to let you know that this meeting is recorded. It'll be released on YouTube a little bit later this week, or most likely next week. I would like to ask you to mute your microphone. Make sure that you turn off your phone, your email notifications. Please wait until the end of the presentation to ask questions. You can either turn on your camera and microphone to ask your questions, or just type them in the chat box, and I'll be happy to read them to Dr. Brian Airy. So, hi, Brian. Nice to have you with us.
Hi, Amina. Thanks for the invitation.
Absolutely. We're so happy to have you. So Brian is Senior Director of Leads Discovery and Optimization at Bristol Myers Squibb in New Jersey. He obtained both his MS and PhD in neuroendocrine physiology at Florida State University before completing his postdoctoral training at Northwestern University. He then moved to work in the pharmaceutical industry, where he held various positions. The list is quite extensive. And this actually makes him an experienced physiologist and a successful drug discovery scientist. And this is all I'm going to say. Today, Brian is here to talk to us about the identification of GPCRs modulating flow-induced signaling pathways in vascular endothelial cells. And with this, it's all yours, Brian.
All right, thanks, Yamina. Let me try to share my screen here, see if I can do this successfully. I think we're all pretty road on how to do this these days, since this is how we communicate. Can everybody see that?
Can you please type yes in the chat box so that we know? Hold on. Oops, view options. Let's see. Yes.
All right, let me go on presentation mode here and then get my pointer, which is always very important. If I get a little too crazy with my pointer, feel free to speak out and tell me not to be so crazy, because I tend to think with my pointer and my cursor. Anyway, so thank you, Yamina, for this really kind invitation. It's really an honor to be kicking off this webinar series for Dr. GPCR. I've enjoyed reading the blogs and so forth, and seeing some of the presentations that you've already had. So being the first kickoff for the webinar series is an honor for sure. So I think it's really important to sort of give a backdrop to any presentation like this. So what I'm going to do is tell you a story today, and the story is about many different things. One is about thinking outside the box from the terms of developing new therapeutics. It's also about thinking creatively to solve problems in order to achieve a scientific goal. And then hopefully along the way, I'll be able to share some information around what we learned in this process of identifying GPCRs modulating flow-induced signaling pathways for the treatment of cardiovascular disease. So the backdrop really is about, my career has taken sort of a convoluted path through the years, and I've worked in many different therapeutic areas in the drug discovery industry. And around 2005-ish, I was asked to join the atherosclerosis and thrombosis teams at Bristol Myers Squibb. I had previously been in the osteoporosis group, and when I got there, I was developing translational animal models, and then I was asked to identify potentially new targets for the treatment of atherosclerosis. And not knowing a whole lot about the area, being new to it, I reached out to my supervisor at the time, a really excellent scientist in his own right, Dietmar Seifert, and I said to Dietmar, I said, where are the opportunities to do something different in terms of, everybody's looking at lipids and this kind of thing. And his response was, well, people aren't really looking at the vessel wall per se in terms of understanding how endothelial cells can modulate or be therapeutically targeted for the treatment of atherosclerosis. So I took that upon myself to look into this in a little bit more detail.
The full episode of the Dr. GPCR Virtual Cafe is now only available in the Dr. GPCR ecosystem with a paid membership. Visit ecosystem.drgpcr.com to sign up, join the ecosystem, and consume all things Dr. GPCR and learn more about what's hot in our field today.